Well, hello everyone. Here to talk to you about it's like the language please of talking about meanings for the word please, and anybody probably think about like yeah you use the word please a lot of times. What does that mean? A lot of anybody that may say I'm like it means it's like that talking about ask for to do something, and anybody that may say about if you say it nicely then more likely they'll do it, but then sometimes it may not work that way. But on your hand too, that knowing about it's like for please though, and knowing about how people say it. If I talk about between if anybody says it as like please or play, or if it's a pays. Anybody anybody that may spell the word as like for like show you a short synonym for PLZ. PLZ, I've known about, really, that if you were to say PZ, that usually mean for a short sentence for like picture or something like that, but then they would add like, say, a quote or maybe a parenthesis or apostrophe or something like that. Most of us have taken any type of a language arts or, maybe English literature or any type of language like that, but anyway, talk about, say, for the meaning of please. And like with anybody that talking about is that for like the language of meaning of please, basically it's like talking about it's asked, asked, it could be like we would say for ask, for favor, and ask for favor, or ask ask for as requested. It could be like as requested, and a lot of times though anybody that may think I'm like yeah it is like talk about it's like for the meaning of the word please. A lot of times when people say it, like talk about for today being Monday for March the 30th right here of 1:11 is say on Central Daylight Time, but you hear right here is that talking about is like for talk the type of language of understanding is like the word please it is, and basically that knowing about like yeah anybody that may have their own source of ways of how to say please, such as maybe table manners, or such as can you please pass the rolls, or can you please stop that, or can you please clean up the mess or anything like that. I like to talk about it with the meaning of please. And a lot of times anybody that may think about, do people say please more than they do thank you? What does pretty please mean? For pretty please, and all about like yeah, that so far as the type of language please of talking about is like so far as pretty please. What does I'll say right here for pretty please. What does pretty please mean? Does that basically mean it's like if the person is about if they about gotten down on their knees and hold their hands up or something like that, hold their hands together, hold their hands up and together and be like pretty please. But other than that, like talking right here, I talk about for meanings of the word say please, and I went ahead and used right here as example right here. I actually used see here, I'll go ahead and use right here as the green, but let's just say that if this one here was my uniform, and let's just say if I were to go to the dry cleaners, and ask them, can you please press this, and if anybody were to say about like if they ask you, can you please give me a discount, or can you please lower the price, and more likely they may say that's a problem, because on your hand that there's store policies about that as well. But on your hand to talk about say with please, and a lot of times that anybody probably like say in a type of language though that you would think that anybody that may say about the type of look that they have on their face, or if they're trying to get something taken care of on their insurance plan, or if it's a bill payment or anything like that, checking into a motel room, whichever it is, and knowing about how people exaggerate please. And I guess is that the whole meaning about the word please? I talk about say for language please, of how people react about knowing about that more likely that they may not get the waiter or waitress to change your mind. Hey, can I have a refill on this, please? Or can I have more coffee, please? Like, well, we got a certain charge, like, please. Like, all right, coming up. But anyway, if you want to get some coffee, such as for Starbucks coffee or any type of coffee, or if it's a refill on iced tea or anything like that, such as Salisbury steak or anything like, try not to make anybody hungry, but on your hand too to talk about safer language, please. If it's completing a homework assignment or anything like that, I know about how people say please. And a lot of times though, that so far as the English language, I've known about that really, that we pretty much know how to say it, like so far as please and thank you. And I'm warning though that maybe that the Chinese way, or maybe if it's the Mexican, Spanish way of how to say please, or the French, in French or something like that, such as ask it or something like that is how you maybe pronounce it or something like that. But anyway, but you hear right here of talk about say with the word please, and like with anybody that may say I'm like that talking about is like so far as to say the sign language of knowing about that maybe how to say please, and I can tell anybody here that I know a little bit of sign language, but not much. But let's just say that if a sign language is such as if you're like so far as if we were to wave our hand, that like wave our hand and then say this like this right here. Like, does that usually mean come here please or something like that, or can you please give me that or something like that? But anyway, talk about the type of language though, and knowing about how people say please so far as language please. And a lot of times though that I'm warning that the way we say please and thank you and so far as yes please or no no please or anything like that. But a lot of times anybody that may say I'm like that people usually use please because they think that that's how they get their way, or that's how they talk about like, hey, if you come to the pharmacy after business hours or something like that. Well, it's just going to take a minute, please, can you please just open the door, and I can take care of this. This should only take a minute, and I don't know. I'm like anybody that may say about what's the third option? I'm talking about if you have it to where that if you show them an insurance card, and then they may say that the store hours are between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or something like that, and then can you please just take care of this for me or something like that, and about option 3 is like you kind of give them that look, that type of look that the person has on their face, such as that, hey, it's only 10 minutes after closing time, this shouldn't take very long. So, and a lot of ways that people probably say about that, if you're going to be taking care of something maybe at the last minute and knowing about, hey, that what the rules are, like talk about you come here at the last minute and they take care of your taxes or something like that. I talk about, I'm like, that there are some times to where you run in that situation to where if you run out of time, and a lot of ways it's like, or if it has something to do with that you try to take care of something, and besides if the time were to be winding down or winding up or something like that, and knowing about how we say please. And a lot of times anybody probably say about either you say please or you show me proof for what you gotta do. And a lot of times they're like, hey, if you're going out to go buy a car, and like if you're going to go out and buy a car, and let's just say that you're trying to talk to them into lowering the price or something like that. They say, hey, I have $300 cash down. I like to have, you say that Kroger or that Mustang or that Jeep Cherokee or something like that. And a lot of times anybody that may say, I'm like, when a number of ways you can say please, but on your hint to the number of ways that it's allowed, and knowing about about our ad. About how our reactions are, about talk about if it's applying for a job or you do any type of application though. But the whole purpose about saying please, you say between please and thank you, and I'll go ahead and pick right here about 3 different colors right here. I'll talk about if anybody has ever said please inside typing this up on Word, if they say please as if they include like what you call for Z, and say a parenthesis, or it's like a apostrophe mark or something like that, or if it's anything to do with, let's see here, use right here is the green. Let's just say that if they spell it as like PLLEES S-E, and I was thinking about, some people that may spell it as like, P-L-E-A-Z-Z-A. So for plesia. For plesia. And Pleasa, to me, it sounds like maybe a brand for like a bunch of, for like a box of graham crackers or something like, Pleasa cheese or something like that, please, between please and cheese. But anyway, and I'm going to use right here is like you have right here is an eraser, the type of stuff we learn in our class, of course, and anybody that may think I'm like, use some examples right here in charcoal. It'll just say that, such as a suitcase that's made out of like what you call, for like maybe 5 or 6 different languages. And a lot of times anybody that may think I'm like, for 5 or 6 different languages, and maybe 10 different languages, and knowing about how to say please and thank you. And I'm like, that the words please, that's usually about 5 letter or so word long, and I'm like, can I please use this old ruler? Can I please use this old magnifying glass? The magnifying glass that don't show any type of that in 3D or something like that. But on the other hand, too, that knowing about ways that we could say please. I'm like talking about can I please go ahead and go to the next step and say like I'm like go ahead and right here like so far as please use the 2B pencil or something like that. I'm like there could be millions. You're talking about that. You start out with one, and then there could be millions of different ways that maybe how people maybe exaggerate please. Of talking about like for please this and please that. Can I please take a restroom break or anything like that? But cycling like so far as can I please have a snack? Can I have a snack or something like that? Or can I please take off my coat, or may I take your coat, or something like that? And like anybody that may, I'm like, talk about it, say with please. It may have similar meanings, but then of course people may spell it differently. So talk about it's like the type of language, like for please. And if we were to say that if we were to type this up in like say in the language that and like on a program like Word, and maybe go ahead and include like say a parenthesis or if like dot underscore or something like that talk about saying the language, and then that is so far for PLZ. For PLZ, and a lot of times it like with anybody, if they were to be at like what you call doing a lot of stuff online, that a lot of times if you would be chatting with somebody online, and a lot of times that they use like what's called is like for short synonyms for like for please. If you don't want to spell everything on a specific time, then basically it's like keywords. I guess you call them keywords. I guess you can call them as like for keywords. And it's basically words that you can type on a keyboard or such as a device that's short for like say for please and thank you. And I'm wondering that if you were to say thank you, if like for the keyword is be like for thank you, it could be something like at TNKU or something like that, TNKU, something like that. I'm like, if anybody has taken any type of college courses or anything like that, knowing about my chat with anybody online, that they may use short synonyms, for something like that. But anyway, talk about say besides for ABC and knowing about that, about the the ABCs and a lot of things. Like anybody probably think about if you were to be taking any type of college courses, such as anything that's done online, that if they quiz you on anything, that more likely that you may come up to that situation to where that hey, I like that they take an exam on you, and then they want you to read a few newspaper articles, and then some of them that could be written maybe in French. I might talk about like for the French language or anything like that. Some that could be written in French. And a lot of the language that you see though, that they may say it looks about similar to like say the English language, and some of the languages that you do see, such as if it's a a Libyan, or if it's like a Libyan type language or anything like that. And I'm like talking about that. I'm like, I'll be lucky to know how to say hi and bye in a different language or something like that. But Anybody that may say, Mike, how do you stand it? How do you stand, trying to get used to the language? But yeah, just like with anybody that taking practice, and I'm sure that we have ways of talking about, it's like anybody who could only use sign language. I'm talking about the type of sign language I'm talking about would be like, say, the sign language such as how are you today, or something like that, or good morning, or good evening, or something like that. But anyway, talk about, say, the type of language here. I talk about the ways to say. Talk about, say, for me. I say for the language, please say with the color. Well, hello everyone. Talk to you about here is for language, please. If most of us are pretty good at knowing about how to communicate with one another, such as how to use that type of sign language. So far as how are you, or something like that, or if it's it's like you looking, or if it's anybody say you're looking handsome, or you're looking charming. But other than that, what I talk about is the ways of how to use, like, say, for language, please. And anybody that may say about how to use the type of language for please, such as please, or please, can you please do this, or something like that, or the type of look that they have on their face, like talk about like the type of language that they kind of have on their face, such as please, or please, or please. But anyway, that anybody that may have their own way, there could be a million, maybe a million ways or so of how people communicate for how they exaggerate, say, for please. So says, can you please pass the rolls, or can you please do this, or do please work this for me, please help me with this, or something like that. And like with anybody, that a lot of times, though, that they may use please as, like, the rule says that if you're going to be 2 hours late on something, and then you don't got no luck, or you're out of luck, or something like that. And a lot of times, and whenever people say it's like for please, though, that a lot of times that they, I guess, say, knowing about how hard they're working, just to try to get something done. And a lot of times, anybody that may say it, like, that's usually how, I guess, what it means. I know about how hard they're trying to get something done. Like, you may wait until maybe the last minute, or that things, you start running behind on some stuff, but on your hand too, that knowing about maybe how it's handled. I'm knowing about, for how people use it, say, for language, please. I've talked about that, the way that how it happens, if like, talk about you have the information that you got to work with, and the amount of time it took you just to say, please. But other than that, when I talk about, say, if you were to say, please, or please, or if you say, please, can you please help me with this? Something like that. So, but on your hand too, that knowing about, I'm like, that's like, that you may go by, people may say that they go by the rules by saying, oh, come on, please, you listen, please, okay, can we please work on this? Can we please just work on this, pretty please? But anybody that may think that more likely that something that you could work on, just to maybe get somebody to say that, okay, well, as long as it don't take too long, or as long as it don't happen every day, don't let it happen again. But on the hand, that knowing about, as long as we're working our hardest at trying to get something done, and really, I think the whole language matter, knowing about, like, for how people exaggerate, for the word please, knowing about for how it's said, and of course, how it's known, is like talking about is like, somebody's doing whatever they can just to try to do something, even if they had to say, I'm like, so far with please. And anybody may think about, like, really, can that person read that person's mind just by the way that they look at them? Like, how do you say please in what's called that face language, or that sign language, such as, hi, or if it's it's like pretty please, pretty please. Can you please just pick up the call? Like in hello, can you please pick up the call, or anything like that? Or if how do you say please? So if I was like, give me that look, like, a lot of people would probably say there's probably a number of ways of how to say please, but if you can tell about people are really doing it on purposely, or knowing about that they really are just trying to get something done. Talk about, say, for the language please, so far as talk about, say, with the color activity.